Mom! Get out of the street! Get out of the street!
You know she's gonna get off the. Happy birthday to Sheila. Happy birthday.
Let's go, LJ. Yes. Okay, what's she doing?
Hey, Sheila, how you doing? Happy 70th birthday to you. Can't believe you're 70. You don't look over way.
I'm not. Hey.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Elaine. It's Laura
And Debbie.
and we just wanted to tell you how much we loved your mom and how much we will miss her. Go ahead.
But we will always have all those memories.
That's right. She has come to both of us and let us know she's okay.
Yes.
So we are fine with that, and we know we will see her again. She's with her mommy and her daddy, and she's having a fine time. So don't despair. Only remember her as happy, lovely, funny, and fiercely independent.
and very loving.
Yes. Bye-bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Here.
Play that back.
And one more, my favorite memories, Aunt She taking all the cousins to see Mickey's A Christmas Carol in 1980, whatever. But I remember how cool it was that our Aunt She had all the cousins out and was taking us to the movies. So thanks again for the memories. Rest in peace until we see each other again.
Oh boy, I miss you, Aunt She. But one of my favorite memories, and there's so many that we have, but one of my favorite ones will always be you took me to get my driver's license because my mom and dad's cars didn't have the handbrakes in the middle. And back then you had to have the handbrake in the middle in order to take the test. And so I can remember you saying, all right, no problem. And you drove me to the DMV. You sat inside and waited while I went out and did my thing and did my test. I came back, said, I'm sure I passed. I got my license. And you said, great. I got my photo taken. They did the whole thing. And I walk out. And I'm walking towards the driver's side. And you just said, where are you going? And I said, I thought I was going to drive us back home. You just looked at me square in the eye and said, you don't have insurance. And got in the driver's side while I stood there like an idiot. And I got in the passenger side and went on. But I will always remember that moment as one of the funniest and just truly genuine Sheila moments. Miss you. God bless you. Love you.
I'm Allison Jones. I'm one of Sheila's nieces. Aunt Sheila took me to go get my license when I was younger. And afterwards, we were in line and there was a guy that asked, like, are y'all related? Because we were both tall was his reason. And she's like, obviously. We both look exactly alike. And then he asked if I played basketball, and before I could answer, she's like, maybe she plays volleyball, and maybe she's not even into sports. And she just wanted to make sure he knew there was more to me than just tall equals basketball. Hi, I'm Haley Jones. I'm one of Sheila's nieces. One of my favorite memories is the fact that as a fellow cat lover, she never believed that our cat Stanley existed because he never came out when she came over to our house. We had 2 cats at the time, and Stanley just didn't like other people, so he never came outside. We ultimately had to give him and our other cat, Rue, away, and she had Rue until he passed when he was around 19 years old. So I like to think that she's reunited with Solo and Picasso and Rue, and hopefully she's met Stanley and knows that he actually did exist one day.
Another time driving with Sheila, and I used to call it my adventures with Sheila. that we were going to her primary physician's office. She wasn't sure of the name. And I said, well, give me the address and I'll punch it in. Oh, well, I don't know where it is. I kind of know how to get there. And I said, well, give me a rendition of her name. Well, I don't really know what it is, but I kind of know how to get there. So I can't see very well. So you read the street signs to me as we're passing through. Well, we only made one wrong turn and we got to her appointment on time. And I can tell you, she had cataracts really bad and she couldn't see very well, but she knew where Wendy's was and she knew how to get to Chick-fil-A. And those were some of the most enjoyable adventures I've ever had with her. Okay. We had left the doctor's office and we were on the way home. And she wanted to stop at the store and pick up something, just 2 items at the Giant. And I said, okay. And I parked the car and I'm getting ready to get out. And no, I'll do it. I said, no, I'll go. No, you have bad leg. I'll go. I said, Sheila. And she just argued. Finally, I said, okay, fine. You go. So after almost a half hour, I was really worried. And I was getting ready to get out of the car and go find her. And here she comes, gets in the car and says to me, I don't understand this. I have the hardest time trying to find whatever product it was. I don't even remember. And I just sat there and said, And she said, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I said, you can't see very well. And she looked up at me and I said, that's why I wanted to go in. And we looked at each other and just burst out laughing. It was just a moment. I love you, my darling sister. I miss you, I miss you, I miss you.
Very deep depression. All these years, over 40-some years, why is it that I can't get going with an art career? Why is it that I can't move forward? I have something to say. What's going on? And it really bothered me. And the depression really was so deep that Aunt Beverly and Uncle Carlos didn't even know. Right, Beverly? You didn't know. I was almost ashamed that I couldn't overcome this obstacle in my life. Well, then I started having all of these health issues, close call issues, and opportunities that, my goodness, I could check out. So when I found out that the doctor said, I think your strokes are from rheumatoid arthritis of the brain, and you can lose your eyesight. I said, wait a minute. You mean all these years I've been complaining about not being able to do my art, and now the opportunity is a possibility that I could lose my eyesight? I better get going. And finally, I had this epiphany in March. And I found a painting that I had started last year and decided I didn't like it. And all of a sudden, I looked at the painting and I said, I like that. Wait a minute, I see something here. So what I wanted to show, first of all, let me just get our glasses up. I want to get our glasses up now. We're starting to put the glasses down. Thank you, family and friends, for being there for me all these years. All these years, and I tried to do something, and I couldn't quite get it together, but you're always there for family. Here for family.
Here, Sheila P.
Okay.
All right.
So, what happened was 2 years ago, Jonathan, I'm going to go to this one now. Can they see this?
That one, yeah.
When I think of Aunt Sheila, it's not one particular memory that I think of. It's the multiple private conversations that we had together and how they really meant a lot to me and how I'm going to miss hearing those or having those conversations anymore. But I want you to know that your words stuck with me. I will remember them always and will always love you. And we'll miss you, Aunt She. Love you.
Hello. Needless to say, the last couple of weeks have been tough. But what I have learned over the last couple of weeks too is Aunt She lived her life out loud. I have heard from so many of my friends and others about Aunt Sheila's services and how she just really lived a great life. When I look at the videos that were just sent of her drumming and how they said most people had one drum and she had two, she was so happy. And that brings me so much joy knowing that Aunt Sheila really lived every moment. She lived for the moment, and not many of us do that. So I think there's some lessons learned for all of us when we think about how Aunt Sheila lived. I think I certainly want to try to incorporate her spirit and her energy a little bit more into my life. Mwah!
Hi, I'm Beverly Jones O'Brien, Sheila's big sister, and I just want to share that these last months with my sister were among the most highly treasured moments I will ever have. They were simple but beautiful. Being in the jacuzzi, talking late at night, just being together, sitting on the bed, hugging, kissing her goodnight. I thank God for these last 8 months. I never thought, as painful as they were for her, that they would be so wonderful for us. Watching she and Michael was a joy. The pleasure they received just being together, taking care of one another. Thank you, God, for these last 8 months with Sheila, Michael, and me.
She was holding your legs down while I was trying to pull you down.
Mm-hmm.
You made all those funny faces.
He loves making funny faces. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Hey, she.
Hey, she.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you say hey, she with me?
Yeah.
Hey, she.
Let me see you say hey, she.
Yeah.
Hey, she. Say it.
Mm-hmm.
Say it with me. Hey, she.
Hey, she.
There
There
we
you
go.
go. There you go.
Hi, this is Bobby Galate, longtime friend of Sheila's in the neighborhood, and I just wanted to express my condolences to all of you. I was sad to miss the funeral, but I'm spending the winter in Florida, and I thought about you guys all day. Here's a fun story from way back when Sex and the City was just ending, having its last show. Girls all over the place were getting together to laugh and watch this show. And I was walking down the street with another neighbor, and I saw all these women going straight to Sheila's with casserole dishes and drinks and all kinds of things. So I said, "Are you guys going over to watch the last Sex and the City show?" And they said, no, we're Buddhist and we're coming for our meeting at Sheila's house. And I said, "Oh, okay, well, have a nice meeting." And I walked away, and my neighbor said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you asked them that." So I, of course, told Sheila later, and she just laughed her head off, and she thought it was so funny. And then she invited me to several of her meetings that she had. So I got to meet many of these lovely women. But we are going to miss her forever. And on the holidays, I know your heart's going to be hurting, but we're all thinking about her. And I know she's looking down from heaven at all of you. Take care.
Hello. So I wanted to share a little crazy story today. Very unconventional. Actually, some of you may find this story very disturbing. However, finding humor in the unconventional was kind of my way of coping with a lot of stuff growing up. So I'm going to share my story, my crazy story about my crazy family, and hopefully you'll find humor in it also and not take it too seriously. So I remember, I think I was a teenager at the time, and my dad and Sheila, my mom, we were going somewhere. I can't remember where we were going. So early on in my life, my dad used to drink and drive, unfortunately. Not proud of that. And of course, Mom was not a fan of that, right? So one day we were driving somewhere on the highway, and he was drinking a beer while he was driving. And I think at this time, Mom had just like had it. And so they started kind of like going back and forth. She was like, this is ridiculous. You have your kids in the car and you can't do this. And he's looking at her like, yo, chill. Like, you're doing the most. You're doing the most right now. And she takes the beer and like literally like throws it out of the window. Mind you, I'm in the back seat. My windows are open. So, and we're on the highway, so we're going fast. And so the beer from the bottle literally does like a U. So we're going, and all the liquid like literally loops back into the back seat, and I am covered with beer. I don't think they even realized what just happened. It just kind of went silent, and my dad just turned and just looked at her like, this woman is nuts. And I'm in the back seat like, you know, so it was a very memorable moment for me. Of course, I smelled like beer the entire rest of the whatever event we went to. I smelled like beer. But one thing I will say, that was the last time my dad ever drank while he drove. So there you go.
Hi, my name's Sabrina. I am Jonathan's mom. I was asked to send a brief little video of a story with Sheila, and to cut it down because I can be long-winded, there was a story that I reminded Elaine of. Sheila and I would get together every year, August 18th. And that was symbolic for us because it happened to be LJ's birthday and Jonathan and Elaine's anniversary. So it was an opportunity for us to get together as sisters, that we've become sisters and good friends over the past 18 or so years. And one of the things that we had in common is we love to laugh. And being with Sheila, we knew whether it's over the phone or in person, that's exactly what was going to happen. We were going to get together and laugh. So this particular year, Jonathan and Elaine could not go out for their anniversary as customary that they would do. They would stay home. So Sheila and I decided that we were going to stay home with the kids and give them time together, much needed time. As parents, they needed to get away and be adults. So we were going to keep the kids upstairs at her house. Sheila and I were in our favorite space on the deck. The kids were watching movies, and we were outside just talking, laughing, and being ourselves. So Jonathan and Elaine were in their quarters and doing what we assumed adults do. It's been a minute, but I can imagine what adults do. And hours went by, and all of a sudden, one of Jonathan and Elaine's friends come upstairs. And Sheila and I looked at each other, and we're trying to figure out where she came from. And the whole time, she had been downstairs. So Sheila and I looked at each other, and we just started laughing. And we're like, how long have you been there? She had been down there the whole time. And so later on, I just told Sheila I felt like I needed to give her $1 so she could have bought herself a clue. This was their anniversary and their time that they should have been spending together. And so for years, Sheila and I brought that up, and we just laughed because that was time that was not well spent. And the anniversary gift was the friend who crashed the party, so to speak. But Sheila was always good for laughter, always good in a conversation. And one thing I can say is even in the times that she was not feeling her best, she always did for me, found a way to make me feel better and for us to find a way to uplift each other. And in the end of it, we both were laughing and forgot about whatever was troubling us. We were in laughter. And for that, Sheila, I thank you, and I will always have you in my heart and always remember you. And for the family, I love you, and you'll always be my family. Bev, you're still my big sister, and I'm still going to be looking out and praying for you and the rest of the family. Love you guys. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
My name is Mrs. Grace Tolle. I live in Monrovia, Liberia. Eileen Ure Williams is my daughter. I want to tell the late Sheila, thank you so much for what she has done for my daughter by raising her up and making her who she is today. I want to extend my sympathy to the bereaved family, and she will always live in our hearts. May her soul rest in peace.
Good morning to all that will be hearing this. It's hard to sum up what Sheila meant to me. She was a second mother, and she was in my life since I was 8 years old. So she meant a lot to me, and she taught me to not be sad for the ones that have passed, to just know that they are in a better place. And I will say this, when I was younger, I used to think that was just something that was told to make people feel better, but it is the truth. And everybody that has meant something to me that has passed, I've had my own experience with them passing. And I will say, for Sheila in particular, the day that she passed, I wasn't feeling good that day. I was laying in bed, and luckily I was able to work from home. But Elaine sent the text, and I just shot up and went to my altar. And I would normally feel ashamed of saying that, coming from a younger me, but Sheila made me feel comfortable in my spirituality. So I started doing the things that lifted my spirits and helped me out in life. And Sheila was a heavy influence on that. So yeah, the day she passed, I came to my altar and rang my little gong 3 times for her spirit. By the 3rd time that I rang it, something told me that it's okay. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if it meant that it's okay that she's better, or is that she's passed and that she's happy. And with all our talks that we've had in our life, me and Sheila, I know she's in a better place, and she doesn't want us to feel sadness for her, even though it's hard. Every time I want to cry, I feel her just saying, don't do that. Don't do it. But yeah, 3 times I rang my bell for her, and I can't say that I pray that she's in a better place. I know she is. So I just hope that everybody that's seeing this knows the same too, and that we will eventually meet up with her again. Love you guys.
My name is Terry. Sheila and I were housemates in Columbia. My dear Sheila, it's hard to believe that you're gone. I'm forever thankful for our lasting sister friendship, filled with joy, laughter, and spiritual insight. Sheila, there's a specific look that you had when you gave it to anyone that person knew they had to course correct. Like the time I showed up and I showed you the birthday card I bought for my friend's 13-year-old son. You looked at it and said, "Oh, you'll give him this card for his birthday?" I said, "Yeah." There was the look. Well, this card says, "Happy anniversary. We burst out laughing together. Course correct. Together we dined out and in with Maryland steamed crabs or more of Sushi King. More joy there. And the music, Sheila. Blues Alley, R&B. Did you ever find that Patti LaBelle CD that you had misplaced? You went bonkers that day looking for it. Then there's the travel to and from Toronto, driving. Whew. Leave on a Friday, party Saturday in Toronto, return Sunday. Nuts, but fun. Sheila P. Jones, you were an earth angel, and now you've changed your zip code and upped your game. Just like that. You're doing bigger things with more joy. I believe you're another star in the nightly sky. Just like that.
Hello, I am Zandra Jenkins, and Sheila was a dear friend to me for over 30 years. We met when she came to work for Bell Atlantic, and we sat in close proximity. She introduced herself as Sheila P. Jones and stressed that P and explained to me comically why she included it so that she wouldn't be mistaken for any other Sheila Jones. But that was Sheila. We shared a lot. When she told me about her immediate family, her sister Beverly and Collis, I said, Collis Jones? She said, yes. I said, oh, I think I know of him. And she said, how? I said, well, didn't he play at St. John's and Notre Dame and in the pro ranks? She said, my God, Zandra, how did you know that? I said, Sheila, I've always been an avid sports fan, so I follow local sports as well. So I knew him, and she was just like, I can't believe it. But that is not anything we had in common because she definitely was not a big sports fan. But anyway, we got our first cell phones, mobile phones together. Those were back when they were hardwired into the cars. We got sequential telephone numbers, hers ending with 5157 and mine 5158. She kept hers till the end, and I gave my number to my daughter when she was a senior in high school. But my daughter remembers Miss Sheila fondly. She came to one of her birthday parties when it was at a go-kart race, and we all cracked up, including Sheila, as to how she was maneuvering the tracks. And my daughter also reminded me that Miss Sheila is the one who introduced her to Buddhism, which made her look it up and read about it. But one of my nieces also sang at their dad's funeral, the Lord's Prayer, back in the late 90s. And so we had a lot of interconnections in that way as well. I'm sitting under one of her pictures that graced my home. I remember working with Sheila, and when she mentioned that she was going to take on Elaine as her daughter, some of her coworkers like, oh no, does she know what she's getting into? A preteen or teenager? But she knew. Sheila always told me, Zandra, I have a lot of love to give and I would be a great mother. And I admire her for what she did. She was a wonderful mother. She poured a lot of love into Elaine, and it shows in how she turned out. She poured that same type of love into her son-in-law and her grandkids. She loved them dearly, as she did her siblings and their families as well. I'm going to greatly miss Sheila. We did a lot together, occasional happy hours, back in the day that was, going to movies, plays, you name it. And but with the pain that she was in, I have to believe that she's better where she is, and that she has regained her wings and flown on to glory, where she will rest in eternal peace. For that, I'm very thankful on this pre-Thanksgiving holiday, and I will love you until the day I die, Sheila.
I am truly going to miss my friend Sheila. I met her 45 years ago when I enshrined her Gohanzen in Columbia, Maryland. She is truly such a energetic person, and she never forgot anything about you, something that I truly liked. Over the years, we have been together through both of our ups and downs, and she has supported me 100% through all of mine, as I have supported her through all of hers, and the laughter and fun that we had. She came to visit me in California, and she just acted like she was part of the family. It was so wonderful. She is such a beautiful, high-spirited, and loving woman that I will miss for the rest of my days. Sheila, I love you, and I send you prayers every day.
Rest in peace, Aunt Sheila. I'm so grateful for you. I will always remember your laugh. I always remember the love with which you said people's names. I will always remember the stories that you told, the way that you would imitate Pops laughing. You were the original fly auntie who was always coming in from some foreign destination, from another part of the world, who had cool gifts, great stories, and amazing lessons. I will always remember talking with you about energy, transferable energy, the energy that we bring with us, the energy that we carry with us. I will always remember conversations about our ancestors and our descendants, and how we were all just forms of energy here on earth to do good and then pass it on to others. I'll always remember a house that was filled with love, artwork, bright colors, and appreciation for culture, and appreciation for learning new things and exploring the world. Thank you for everything, Ashi.
So, when Sheila was little, she loved doing this in the chair. Why? I don't know. But her favorite chant was, Mommy, Daddy, Beckley, Kadis, Shida, Shida.
No, I got the lesbians.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, to the lesbians. So I was excited to have, to have a roommate, and then I went and I said, oh goodness. I mean, and it happened at least 5 times that they tried to hit on me. It was really, I said, listen, I don't go. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I don't judge people, but that's not my interest. I'm sorry. I'm heterosexual. And they said, oh, what a shame.
So I'm going to share a story about Mom's stubbornness. I know we laughed about that a lot during the celebration of life, but this was an example of definitely how stubborn she was. And we laughed about it afterward, but at the time, this was definitely not funny. So this was in 2019. We had just moved to Maryland, and maybe a few months after we moved to Maryland, and I came home from work, and we were living with Mom at the time. And after I got home, we were just talking, having a conversation, and mid-conversation, I just hear like gibberish, like the words are not making sense. And mind you, at this time, I was working in McLean, Virginia. So I was commuting from Columbia to McLean every day. And it was like an hour-and-a-half commute one way. So 3-hour minimum daily commute. And I was exhausted all the time because this was before COVID, and I was working in person 5, sometimes 6 days a week if I had the weekend shift, the overtime shift. So I was exhausted all the time, and here I'm having a conversation with Mom. Mid-conversation, I just hear gibberish. I'm like, oh, I'm tripping. I knew I was tired, but I am tripping right now. I didn't know it was this tired. And then after a couple seconds, she goes back to speaking normally. And when she was done talking, she said, you know what, I'm tired. I'm gonna go upstairs and go to sleep. And I noticed she had like beads of sweat coming down. And when she got up, because she had just finished eating dinner, when she got up, she dropped the plate, and then, or she dropped her phone, and then when she went in the kitchen to put her plate in the sink, she dropped her plate. And I was like, Mom, are you okay? And she said, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just tired. So she put her plate in the sink and then started walking upstairs, and I followed her upstairs. And now she started getting irritated. She was like, why are you following me? I told you I'm fine. I'm just tired. I just need to go to sleep. And I said, I'm just trying to see if you're okay. You know, I just want to make sure you get upstairs okay. And she said, I told you I'm fine. So she's getting very angry and irritated at this point. So she goes to her room and gets in bed, and then she drops her phone. So I said, Mom, I'm calling the paramedics. I'm calling, I just want to make sure you're okay. And now she's like over the top. Like, I'm on the phone with the paramedics, and I said, I know you can be mad at me, I'm still gonna call them anyway. So while I'm on the phone with the paramedics, they can hear her in the background just going off, upset. This is ridiculous. I don't even know why you're doing this. So they get to the house, and she starts yelling at them, and it was a mess. And they're like, ma'am, we need to take you to the hospital. So she refused to ride with them. So they were like, okay, well, if you don't want to ride with us, the only other option is for your daughter to take you to the hospital. So she was like, fine, I'll let her take me to the hospital. So we get to the hospital, and lo and behold, they take her straight back because she had had a stroke. And they said the timing was impeccable, because if she would have gone to sleep, having had that stroke, she could have gotten permanent damage from that. And then the next day, she had another stroke when I think Beverly was in the hospital with her that day when they were eating, and she had another stroke. And so because we were with her and able to catch that, she didn't have any long-term physical damage from that. So I'm just really grateful I was able to be there for that, so that we could catch that, because, you know, Lord knows what would have happened. But it just goes to show, you know, even when people are being stubborn, just do what you need to do. And, you know, after that, she was really grateful. We laughed about it, but she was really grateful that I did not listen to her and that we were able to catch that in time, so that she didn't have any long-term physical damage.
We sang this song at a culture festival. I know you didn't do that.